Life isn't always fair, people aren't always kind, and no matter how successful, smart, beautiful, or talented you are, there will come a moment, maybe many, when someone will try to knock you down. It could be a careless comment, a passive-aggressive dig, a cold shoulder in a room full of applause. Or maybe it's rejection when you gave it everything you had, and in those moments when it stings, when the hurt is real and your pride is bruised, you have a choice. You can react or you can respond. Let me tell you something I've learned over the years, not just in the film industry, but in life. Taking the hit doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. Because taking the hit means you didn't run from it. You didn't deny it or shrink because of it. You stood there, took the blow, and stayed on your feet. That takes guts. That takes grace. And it takes restraint most people don't have. The easy thing is to lash out, to retaliate, to scream, "How dare you?" and let that anger spiral. Trust me, I felt that urge. I've had moments when someone doubted me, disrespected me, or tried to silence my voice. And my first instinct, fight. Prove them wrong right there, right then. Let them know who they're dealing with. But then I breathe. And I remember something powerful. Not every battle is worth fighting in public. Not every insult needs an answer. Not every job deserves your energy. So instead, I take the high road. That's not about being passive. It's not about letting people walk all over you. It's about knowing exactly who you are and not letting anyone's small opinion shake that. It's about showing the world that you don't have to stoop low to rise high, because when you hold your head up and move forward with purpose, people notice. And more importantly, you notice. You see your own power. You feel your own self-respect growing stronger. You realize that silence, when intentional, can be louder than any argument. And let me be real, taking the high road isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes people misunderstand it. They think you're ignoring the issue or letting it slide. But what you're really doing is choosing your battles. You're choosing your peace over your pride. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. There was a time early in my career when I faced some pretty brutal criticism. Not about my work, about who I was, my background, my looks, my accent, even my name. I remember one comment from someone in a position of power that cut deep. It wasn't said to my face, of course, those kinds of things rarely are. It was said in a meeting I wasn't even in, but I heard about it. And it burned. For a moment, I was furious. I wanted to walk into that office and speak my truth loud and clear, but instead I walked into a studio and delivered the best performance I could. I worked twice as hard. I stayed focused. I turned that pain into fuel. And years later, that same person clapped for me at an awards show. That's the high road. It's long, but it leads somewhere real. Here's the other beautiful thing about choosing grace. It frees you. When you don't carry the weight of resentment or revenge, you move lighter. You create space in your life for growth, for joy, for connection. You show people how to treat you, not because you yelled it from the rooftop, but because you lived it. You modeled it. Taking the high road also doesn't mean you never speak up. It just means you choose how and when you do it. You speak with intention. You speak with impact. You don't react, you respond. And those words, when they come from a place of calm strength, hit different. They land, they stay. There's power in restraint. There's power in saying, "I see what you did, but I choose not to let it define me." That kind of quiet confidence, it's magnetic. It commands respect without ever needing to demand it. So the next time someone takes a shot at you, whether it's online, in person, in a relationship, or in your career, remember this: you are not obligated to shrink to their level. You are allowed to rise. You are allowed to take that hit, feel it, learn from it, and then keep walking. Taller, wiser, more powerful than before, because your story is bigger than any moment of pettiness or pain. And when you choose the high road, you stay focused on where you're going, not on who tried to slow you down. So don't get mad. Don't waste your breath proving your worth to people who are never qualified to judge it. Just keep shining, keep rising, keep walking that high road like it's a red carpet, because it is. And honey, you were born to walk. We all have that fire inside us, that burning, restless energy that shows up when someone tells us we can't, when they say we're too much or not enough, when we get rejected from something we gave our whole heart to, when we're overlooked, underestimated, or just flat out dismissed. That fire, it's real, it's hot, and it's powerful. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? For a long time, I thought I had to fight the fire, suppress it, smile when I didn't feel like it, shrink so other people wouldn't feel uncomfortable, be the good girl who didn't rock the boat. But here's what I learned, especially as a woman, especially in industries that weren't built for me: you don't put out that fire. You channel it, because if you don't, it'll burn you from the inside out. It'll make you angry, bitter, exhausted. But when you learn to take that same heat and redirect it into your purpose, into your passion, into your hustle, then you become unstoppable. I remember a time early in my career when I was passed over for a role. Not because I wasn't good, not because I didn't fit the part, but because someone decided I wouldn't sell in a certain market. That decision had nothing to do with talent and everything to do with perception. I was livid. I cried. I doubted myself for about a day. Then I woke up and I thought, okay, watch me. And I went to work. I trained harder. I refined my craft. I said yes to opportunities others might see as smaller, but I poured everything into them. I built credibility brick by brick. And that fire, it never left. It just fueled the climb. That's what channeling it looks like. Channeling the fire means using your emotions as tools, not weapons. Anger becomes focus. Disappointment becomes discipline. Rejection becomes redirection. You stop reacting and you start building. You let the world's doubt become your drive, not your definition. And don't think it only applies to work. This is about every area of your life. When someone breaks your heart, don't waste time trying to hurt them back. Level up. Heal in a way that makes you feel proud. Turn that pain into personal power. Start the business, write the book, take the trip. Change your damn hairstyle, do whatever reminds you that you are the main character in your story, not the supporting role in someone else's. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean you'll always feel inspired. Some days the fire will look like tears at 2 a.m. or quiet exhaustion after another no. That's okay. Rest if you need to. Breathe, but then get back up. Because the thing about fire is it's meant to move. And if it doesn't have direction, it'll burn everything. But if you give it focus, it'll light the way. I've had moments where that fire almost consumed me. Times I felt misunderstood, misrepresented, or just plain done. But then I'd remind myself I didn't come this far to let someone else's version of me become the final one. And neither did you. Maybe someone told you you're too emotional, too intense, too loud, too ambitious. Good, that means you feel deeply. That means you care. That means you're alive. And aliveness is power. Don't dull your flame just to make other people feel comfortable in your presence. If they can't handle your heat, they can step aside. But don't let the fire become chaos. Let it become art. Turn it into strategy, into poetry, into business plans, into workouts, into songs, into whatever helps you rise. When you pour that energy into something bigger than your pain, that's when the transformation happens. You know what's wild? Some of the best things in my life came out of moments I thought were the worst. The missed opportunities, the failed auditions, the broken friendships, the people who ghosted, doubted, or betrayed me, they gave me the flames. And I used them to cook up a life I love, so don't be afraid of the fire. Don't hide from it. Welcome it like an old friend who knows your pain, but also knows your strength. Learn from it, listen to it, and then direct it. Because when you do, you're not just surviving, you're shaping your own story, one bold, beautiful, burning moment at a time. You don't need to scream to be heard. Let your progress be the volume. Let your consistency do the talking. Let your glow be the result of everything they tried to dim. That's how you channel the fire. That's how you take the heat and use it to rise. So the next time you feel that fire in your chest, that pulse, that rage, that ache, don't shut it down. Smile. Because you've just been handed a gift. Now go use it to set your path on fire. There's something so tempting about clapping back, about proving people wrong in the moment, about crafting that perfect comeback that stings just enough to shut it all down. I get it. We all want to defend ourselves when we're doubted, dismissed, or disrespected, especially when it's personal, especially when we've worked so hard to get where we are. But here's what I've learned. Silence paired with undeniable success is a far louder answer than any argument could ever be. You don't always need to explain yourself. You don't have to convince someone of your worth. You don't have to shrink yourself into a version of who they can accept. What you do need to do, what will speak for you long after the noise fades, is win. And not just in the way the world defines it. I'm talking about the kind of success that's rooted in purpose. The kind that grows from the work you put in behind the scenes, the kind that's born in private and revealed in power. When people underestimate you, don't waste your energy proving them wrong with words. Prove them wrong with results. Let them gossip, let them doubt, let them watch. Because while they're talking, you're building. While they're busy tearing down, you're elevating. And eventually, the same mouths that once questioned you will have no choice but to say, damn, she did it. I remember moments, many moments, when I wasn't taken seriously, whether it was because I was too young, too foreign, too bold, too brown, too ambitious, pick your label. I've heard it. And for a long time, I thought I had to keep explaining myself, keep earning my place at every table. But then I realized I don't need to prove anything to anyone except myself. I know my work. I know my heart. I know my worth. And so do you. Success isn't always loud at first. Sometimes it's quiet. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the work even when there's no applause. It's keeping your vision alive when people don't see it yet. It's betting on yourself when no one else will. And when you finally get to where you're going, when the spotlight finds you, it's not luck. It's the result of every moment you chose not to let them get in your head. You have to stop giving so much power to people who never built what you're building. Let them laugh. Let them question. Then smile and keep going. Because your success will eventually speak so loudly they won't even remember what they said. That's how change happens. That's how narratives shift. Not by arguing in circles, but by rising so high the story writes itself. You see, real success doesn't chase validation. It doesn't need approval. It moves with quiet confidence and relentless drive. And it hits different when it comes from the person who was once doubted the most. That's the kind of win that doesn't just change your life, it changes perception. Not just for you, but for every person who looks like you, dreams like you, sounds like you. That's what impact looks like. When I transitioned into Hollywood, there were people who told me to Americanize my name, to soften my accent, to fit in more. And I could have done that. I could have blended in. But instead, I doubled down on who I am. I kept showing up. I kept working. I let the performances speak. I let the roles evolve. I let the success say everything I didn't. And let's be clear, success isn't just about awards or headlines. It's about alignment. Are you living a life that's true to you? Are you proud of what you've built? Are you waking up knowing you're honoring your own voice? Because that's real success. Everything else, the applause, the attention, that's just the echo. So when they doubt you, don't get bitter. Get better. Get sharper. Get focused. Let the noise become background music while you stay locked in on your purpose. And one day when you're standing in the place they said you'd never reach, when you're holding the very thing they said you'd never have, you won't even need to say a word. The success will say it for you. And maybe, just maybe, they'll thank you for showing them what's possible, for being the proof, for choosing the high road and walking it like a runway, for turning pressure into power and doubt into drive. You see, revenge is fleeting, attention fades, but success leaves a mark. It lasts, it teaches, it elevates everyone who's watching. So the next time someone tells you what you can do, smile to yourself. Because now you've got fuel. Now you've got fire. And now you've got a reason to win louder than ever. Don't get mad. Don't get petty. Don't get distracted. Just get successful. Let that be your response. No one gets to the top alone. I don't care how talented you are, how strong you are, how disciplined or ambitious or brilliant you might be. If you don't have the right people around you, you'll burn out before you ever break through. And I'm not talking about crowds. I'm not talking about followers or fame or people who show up when the lights are on. I'm talking about the real ones, the ride or dies, the ones who show up when the room is empty, when the music stops, when the world goes quiet. Surrounding yourself with ride or dies isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Because no matter how powerful you are, life will test you. It will knock the wind out of you when you least expect it. There will be days you question everything, your path, your decisions, your worth. And on those days, you don't need people who just flatter you. You need people who see you. The ride or dies are the ones who hold the mirror up to your greatness even when you forget it yourself. They're the ones who'll tell you the truth when no one else will, who'll celebrate you when you win, and sit beside you when you lose. No judgment, no ego, no conditions. Just love, just presence, just truth. Over the years, I've had to learn this the hard way. When I first entered the industry, I thought support was about popularity, about being liked, about being invited to the right places. But popularity isn't loyalty. Attention isn't love. And just because someone smiles in your face doesn't mean they're rooting for your success. Some people are just curious. Some people are just keeping score. And some people only stick around as long as you're useful to them. It took time and a few heartbreaks to realize quality over quantity. I'd rather have 3 solid, soulful, honest people in my corner than 300 who clap when it's convenient. And when I started honoring that, everything changed. My circle got smaller, but my peace got bigger. My clarity sharpened. My energy shifted. Because when you're surrounded by people who truly want the best for you, without agenda, without envy, you start to thrive on a whole other level. Ride or dies don't always look like you, talk like you, or even agree with you. But they align with you. They're connected to your core. They respect your boundaries. They protect your name in rooms you're not in. They correct you when you're off track, not to shame you, but to keep you grounded. They remind you of your why when you're ready to quit. And maybe most importantly, they love you not despite your flaws, but through them. That kind of bond is rare. And when you find it, protect it, pour into it, reciprocate it. I've been lucky to have a few people like that in my life, people who have seen me at my lowest, at my most lost, and still believed. still stayed. My mom, who's my rock. My friends who've known me since before the red carpets and the headlines. My team, who work just as hard as I do behind the scenes. And of course, my husband, who met me as a whole woman and chose to build with me, not try to fix me. That's what ride or die energy looks like. But here's the thing. To attract that kind of loyalty, you have to be that kind of person too. You have to show up for others. You have to be honest, vulnerable, consistent. You can't just expect people to hold space for you if you're not willing to do the same. Relationships, real ones, are built, not bought. They're earned through time, through trust, through truth. And sometimes the hardest part of surrounding yourself with ride or dies is letting go of the ones who aren't. That can be painful. Some people aren't meant to go with you to the next level. Some friendships expire. Some bonds break. And that's okay. Don't force connections just because of history. Don't keep people in your life just because they've been there for a long time. Ask yourself, do they still belong there? Do they celebrate me or tolerate me? Do they inspire me or drain me? If the answer hurts, that's growth. And growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. So curate your circle with the same care you'd curate your dreams. Be intentional. Be honest. Be loyal, but don't be blind. Surround yourself with the people who aren't just along for the ride, but who are invested in where you're going. People who would ride with you through the storms, through the setbacks, through the silence, and still believe in your light. Because here's the truth, success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process and who's holding your hand when the lights go off. So choose your people wisely, protect your space fiercely, and remember, ride or dies aren't found. They're felt. You'll know them when you meet them. And once you do, never let them go. Ambition used to be a dirty word. Especially if you were a woman, we were told to be humble, to wait our turn, to not want too much. We were told that dreaming big made us too intense, too intimidating, or too full of ourselves. And for a while, a lot of us believed it. We kept our dreams small so we wouldn't make other people uncomfortable. We whispered our goals instead of shouting them from the rooftops. We made ourselves smaller to fit into a world that was never designed for us to take up space in the first place. But let me tell you something, those days are over. There is nothing wrong with being ambitious. There is nothing wrong with wanting more success, more influence, more freedom, more impact, more life. You are allowed to want that. You are born to want that. And not just want it quietly, but go after it fiercely, boldly, and without apology. Being unapologetically ambitious doesn't mean stepping on people to climb higher. It doesn't mean being arrogant. It means owning your power. It means honoring your hunger. It means refusing to dull your shine just because someone else finds it too bright. I've always been ambitious. I've always had this fire in my chest that says there's more out there for you. Go find it. And yes, there were people who didn't understand it. There still are. But I stopped trying to explain myself. I stopped shrinking my dreams to make them digestible for others. Because here's the truth, the people who are meant for you will never be threatened by your ambition. They'll cheer for it. They'll stand beside it. And if they can't do that, let them go. I've had people tell me you should slow down, or you're doing too much, or why can't you just be happy with what you have? And my response is simple, I am happy. But happiness doesn't mean complacency. I can be grateful for everything I've achieved and still hungry for more. That's not greed, that's growth. That's evolution. You're allowed to outgrow the version of yourself you once fought to become. You're allowed to want to see just how far you can go, just how high you can climb. Don't ever let anyone guilt you into playing small. Your ambition is not a character flaw, it's a compass. It's what drives you forward when everything else feels uncertain. It's what gets you back up after a setback. It's what turns a maybe into a hell yes. But ambition alone isn't enough. You have to own it. You have to show up for it every single day. You have to make decisions that align with your future, not your fears. That means setting boundaries, saying no to distractions, saying yes to risks. It means investing in yourself even when no one else does. It means doing the work when it's glamorous, and especially when it's not. It's also important to understand that ambition isn't linear. Sometimes it looks like winning an award. Other times it looks like resting, healing, and saying, I need a moment. Don't confuse burnout with failure. You can pause without quitting. You can rest without losing your edge. The most ambitious people I know when to push and when to pull back. That balance. That's power. Being unapologetically ambitious also means you're going to make people uncomfortable. And that's okay. You're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to break ceilings. You're here to rewrite narratives. You're here to challenge the idea that we should be satisfied with just enough. Let your ambition disrupt the room if it has to, because that disruption, that's where change begins. Let me be real, ambition will cost you. It will cost you people, comfort, sometimes even certainty. But what it gives you in return, freedom, purpose, impact, is priceless. It gives you the power to choose your own life, to carve out your own path, to stop asking for permission and start owning your space. So if you've got a dream that scares you, chase it. If you've got a vision that others can't see yet, build it. If you've got a goal that feels too big, good. That means you're doing something right. You don't need to apologize for wanting more. You don't need to make yourself smaller so others can feel secure. You were not put on this earth to live in half measures. You were born to go all in. Don't be the person who looks back and wonders what could have been if you'd only believed a little harder, spoken a little louder, or tried a little longer. Be the one who goes after it again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when the odds are stacked. That's what it means to be unapologetically ambitious, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and you get to define success on your terms. So dream big, hustle hard, shine bright. And never ever say sorry for it. There's something magical that happens when you stop doubting your own strength and start standing fully in your power. Not in a performative, look at me kind of way, but in a deep, soul-rooted, unshakable way. When you know who you are, your voice, your values, your potential, no one can take that away from you. That's the kind of power I'm talking about, the kind you don't need to shout about because it speaks for itself. Owning your power doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It means you've accepted that you deserve to be here, that you have something valuable to contribute, that you're not going to apologize for your presence, your brilliance, or your ambition anymore. It's about rewriting the stories you've been told, stories that said you were too much or not enough, and replacing them with one you write yourself. And once you do that, once you truly own your power, the next step is the most beautiful one of all. You turn around and use it to lift others. Because real power isn't about dominating. It's not about being the only one shining. Real power expands. It includes, it empowers. It says, if I can do it, so can you, and I'll help you get there. I've been blessed with success in many forms across continents, industries, and cultures. But none of it would mean as much if I didn't use what I've gained to open doors for others. Especially for women. Especially for people who come from backgrounds where success isn't handed to you. You have to hustle twice as hard just to be seen. When you know what it's like to be underestimated, when you felt the sting of rejection or invisibility, you don't forget it. And you shouldn't. That experience becomes your empathy, your reminder, your purpose. So when you rise, you reach back, you speak someone's name in a room they haven't even entered yet. You mentor, you amplify, you invest, you make space. This isn't about charity, it's about responsibility. You don't have to be famous or rich or have 1 million followers to make a difference. Power shows up in all forms. Maybe you're the only woman at the table. Maybe you're the first in your family to go after a dream. Maybe you have a platform, a voice, a story that someone else needs to hear. Whatever it is, don't hide it. Don't waste it. I've learned that the people who inspire me the most are not always the loudest. They're the ones who move with intention, who use their influence not just to shine, but to illuminate. And I think that's what we should all aim for, because the world doesn't need more gatekeepers. It needs more bridge builders, more women saying there's room for you too. More people in positions of power asking who isn't represented here. And how do we change that? We live in a world that teaches us to compete, to compare, to cling to power like it's a limited resource. But here's the truth. Someone else's win is not your loss. There's space for all of us. And the more you lift others, the more powerful you actually become. It's a cycle that feeds itself. When you help others rise, your impact multiplies, your legacy deepens, your success becomes meaningful. I'm proud of the roles I've taken on, the businesses I've built, the risks I've taken. But I'm even more proud of the people I've mentored, the girls I've inspired, the opportunities I've helped create for women behind the camera, in the boardroom, on the stage, because I know what it felt like to fight for those chances. And now that I have a seat at the table, you better believe I'm pulling up more chairs. Here's the thing about power. It's most effective when it's shared, when it's not about ego, but about elevation. When you stop trying to prove you belong and start making sure others feel like they do too. That's leadership. That's growth. That's how you change the world, not by being the exception, but by becoming the example. So whatever power you hold, your voice, your influence, your platform, your position, own it with pride. Don't shy away from it. Don't play small just to make others comfortable. And once you've found your footing, once you've risen above the doubt, the noise, the limitations they tried to put on you, look around and say, who can I bring with me? Because this isn't just about success. It's about legacy. It's about impact. It's about being the kind of person who doesn't just climb the ladder but builds a new one. Own your power, speak your truth, live your purpose, and never forget to turn your light outward. Because when you shine and you help others shine too, that's how the whole world gets brighter.